What led to you in transitioning from working in the hospital to education?
I came into education by necessity. My first son, we knew that there was no point getting him forms to get into secondary school because he wasn't going to pass. And at that time, we didn't realize that he had a hearing defect. He wasn't hearing properly. So at the end of the day, a child will score 20/20 in that HCP. So it's not just about the written work, the cognitive. It's also about your attitude towards learning. Some children may not be excellent at maths, but they are excellent at other things.
What has been some of the things that you've noticed in children these days? Because usually it's when a child is not doing well, right? Usually you're not serious, or you're playing too much and all that. But it's much more than that.
So in education, there are things we call multiple intelligences, and everybody has their own way they learn.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Imprint with Hannah, and I have a very special guest today. She'll introduce herself and we'll just have a wonderful conversation. Good evening, Mrs. Benedicta.
Good evening, Hannah.
Yes, please introduce yourself.
My name is Benedicta Anate. I work in the educational space. I just wrote a book, Bible in the Alphabet, for both children and adults and anyone that is interested in learning more about God. It's about puzzles and games that encourage people to study their Bibles.
Thank you so much. So I can't wait to get into that part of the conversation. But first of all, let's start with your career transitioning. I was going to say you recently transitioned, but 5 years is a long time. What led to you, transitioning from working in the hospital, right, to, education? It's usually people leaving education to transition into other career paths.
I came into education by necessity.
Okay.
My first son, as at the time he was in primary 5, we knew that there was no point getting him forms to get into secondary school because he wasn't going to pass. That was the reality. He wasn't doing well. And at that time, we didn't realize that he had a hearing defect. He wasn't hearing properly. Right now, he uses a hearing aid. So my husband suggested that we homeschooled him.
Okay.
And that was how I got into education. So I homeschooled him, and we had looked at schools, and we wanted him to attend this school in Otta, the Ambassadors College.
Okay.
So I did what I knew to do. And by the time we went to write the exams, they called us back to come and rewrite because apparently he hadn't had enough marks to get him into school, but there was potential for him. So if you had between maybe 45% or 55%, they would ask you to come and rewrite.
Okay.
So they asked us to rewrite. And for ambassadors, they do 60% theory and maybe 40% MCQ questions, because some people may not really know the answers, but they can guess their way through the work. So that's how they told me what I needed to do, and I helped him. We got into the school, and then by the time my second son was ready, by the time he was in primary 4. After primary 4, I pulled him out of school and homeschooled him with his younger sister at that time. And then he got in on merit and even got a scholarship in a school in Ibadan, Valencia College. He came first and got a scholarship. And that's how I got into education. And I decided to go do a postgraduate diploma in education so that I could have a certificate to teach.
So that's a huge sacrifice, right?
It is, but it's for the children, so you don't count it as huge.
Because, leaving your job, homeschooling your son, homeschooling is not even something that is very common in Nigeria, right? So doing that, how long ago was that?
That was 6 years ago.
6 years?
Yes, because my first son is currently in SS3.
Oh, wow.
So that was 6 years ago.
That's a huge sacrifice. Well done on that.
Thank
you. Since you've been in education, right, what has been your experience?
It's been topsy-turvy.
Okay.
It's been interesting, getting to meet children. Okay, so I teach teenagers basically. Okay. Both in church and in school. Yes, I teach from year 7 to year 11. And it's been very interesting, getting to know the minds and relate with children, helping a child move from a point 0 to a point 10.
Yeah.
And, just being in their world and appreciating how they feel, because they have feelings too. So it's just been very interesting. The remuneration is poor though.
They need to pay teachers better.
The remuneration is poor, but the joy of being with them, helping them grow and helping them, somehow sometimes you're even reliving your life through them, and helping them make better choices. It's been an interesting ride.
To ask, right, what has been some of the things that you've noticed in children these days? Because usually when a child is not doing well, right, usually you're not serious, or you're playing too much and all that, but it's much more than that. As we had an earlier conversation. Maybe you want to talk about that.
Okay, so before now, like you said, it would just be attributed to the fact that the child is not reading. But sometimes, what if the child is not learning properly? So in education, there are things we call multiple intelligences.
Okay.
And everybody has their own way they learn. Okay. Everybody has their own, well, I call it graces. Okay. Some people are mathematically inclined. They deal with numbers. I deal with numbers. I see a plate number, and all I'm saying is the numbers, the relationship between the numbers. That's all I'm looking out for. Are they prime numbers?
You're really going that far.
That's all I'm looking at. But some people see things, and it's the words they see. Like, I used to have a colleague I still have that colleague. Yeah. We normally go home together and all that. And every time maybe we're driving and she sees a car in front, she'll say, "Oh, this," she will call whatever is on the bus or on the car. I'll be like, "Where did you see that?" She said, "It's on the bus." I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the plate number, or I'm counting how many poles, I'm counting how many, so people are gifted differently. Some people come into this space and they want to transform it. I could come into this space, I'm fine with the way it looks, but another person is like, "Oh, we can rearrange the chairs, or we can put this here," and all that. So people are gifted differently. And in education, we recognize that. And so when you're teaching children, we make allowance for that. Now, there's also the fact that some people are visual learners. Okay. Some people are audiovisual learners.
They like to listen.
They like to listen. Like when we were growing up, we used to listen to a lot of plays on the radio. Yeah. You would have to visualize the characters. Other people may not like to listen to radio because they won't be able to visualize. And I think that's the reason some people don't enjoy reading books, because when you read books, you need to be able to visualize the characters. Some authors, do a good job trying to describe and narrate, the events and the way the things play out. But some people are just not wired that way.
They couldn't care about that.
They're not just wired that way. So children learn differently, and so education is teaching us now, the current trend, to meet children at their points of need. So we say that the teaching is child-centered. It's centered on the child, not on the teacher.
So, but how do you, if you say you have a class of, say, 20 pupils, right? Yes. How do you combine all of the different ways that the children learn with how you teach? Because since they learn differently, how do you ensure that there's a meeting point?
Okay, so that's where the lesson plan comes in.
Okay.
So when you start to teach the children, you identify the ones that are visual learners. You identify the ones...
How do you do that?
You will just know. With time, you will know. Because sometimes, as you see that someone, his mind is not there. Or his or her mind is not there while you're teaching. You try to call them back, So again, there's something we call a starter when you are teaching. You start with a game, something totally unrelated. I want to teach maths, but I could start with, okay, for instance, maybe I want to teach integers. I could say, give me 10 words from integers. That's not maths, that's English. you know, or I could say, give me 10 countries that starts with A, or give me 5 countries that starts with F. I'm trying to stimulate their
curiosity.
Yes, and they're excited about learning. So when you start teaching, maybe 20 minutes into, and then we try to limit the actual teaching to 20 minutes. Yes,
just 20 minutes.
Not period. 40. No, a period maybe for 45 minutes, 55 minutes.
Okay.
But so, for instance, I have a 55 minutes period. Okay. 10 minutes is for starter, or 5 minutes for starter.
Oh.
Then my actual teaching is just 20 minutes. And then we have class activity for another 20 minutes thereabout there. So I have taught something, because if you continue to talk, sometimes you lose some people because
some sleep in class.
They sleep off, they are tired, they don't want, if they are not talking, then you should not be the one talking. So when you teach for 20 minutes, you keep the teaching brief. Then you can give classwork for reinforcement, because it's not in the number of your words that will make them learn. It is in the doing. And like I tell my students, the sweetness of the pudding is always in the eating. So let's eat.
I once had a lecturer, and then whenever he's done teaching, he wants to give us pepper soup. We're like, no, we don't want to pepper soup.
No, you need to have pepper soup so that you will enjoy it better. It's when you do it, it's just like even cooking. You could see someone make soup or cook a particular dish, and you say, oh, that's easy, till you try it. And then you realize it's not as easy as you thought. So as you continue to practice, you get better.
Parents who have children who are not doing so well, right? How can they, should I say, partner with the teachers to improve? And that's one question. The second question would be, how would you know the ability of a child from maybe just exams alone and things like that? Do you think it's very imbalanced?
So examination is not, we can't just use one exam. And that's why even in school, we have 100% at the end of the day. So 60% for continuous assessments, and then 40% for exams.
Okay.
And for me, 40% out of the 60% is written work. Your remaining 20% is your assignments.
Which is also written.
Yes, but your assignments, I'm not even, so I've graded the assignments.
Okay.
So the way I do it, I call the class, okay, so you will judge yourself. It's 20 marks, but I have 5 marks for each, for your assignment, for classwork, for participation in class, and attitude towards learning. So I would ask you, Hannah, what do you give yourself for homework? You say, oh, Miss Anate, I give myself 3. I say, no, I give you 4. He said, but I failed. I said, I'm not judging you based on what you failed. Yes. Did you attempt it? Did you submit all your homework? Because I've already graded the homework and given you maybe 2/10. We've already punished you with your 2/10. So I'm not looking at your 2/10. Did you attempt the homework? So if you attempted most of your homework, you get 4 or 5. Your classwork, did you do your classwork? So what do you give yourself? Class, what do we give her? And then we go to class participation. Did you participate in class? Oh, every time you ask me a question, I attempted. Good, we give you a mark for that. Your attitude towards it. So at the end of the day, a child will score 20/20 in that HCP. Yes. So it's not just about the written work, the cognitive. It's also about your attitude towards learning. Yes, your attitude towards learning. It's not just about the cognitive, because some children may not be excellent at maths, but they are excellent at other things.
Yeah,
they are sports. Kind, like sports, like speaking, public speaking. I have such students, and even kindness. Some students are very kind.
That's true.
You know, and I try to encourage that. So the exams is just 40%. Then we have these other ones, the assessment, and the assessment is not just written. Sometimes ongoing assessment, you know, formative, and the other ones that we have.
I think it's that approach prepares children for real life more.
Yes.
Right? Because I think that even when you have colleagues, somebody that has a bad attitude, no matter how smart that person is already a difficult person to work with, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
I like that approach. I wish I was going to school
at that time. Things are changing. Things are changing. You know, education is becoming very progressive. We're seeing the things that we should have done better, and we're just trying to inculcate. And I'm sure in another 10 years' time, we would have better approach towards teaching and learning.
So the crop of teachers that we have, at least when I was in secondary school and all that, primary school, most of our teachers, they were, you know, when you finish school, they're like, I saw one teaching job, you know, it's more like like a pastime for bigger things, right? And it's almost as if the people who teach are those at the bottom of the barrel, and people who did not really have, you know, anything in quotes going on for them. But you even transitioned into teaching. What has been your experience with other teachers, and how do you think having really good teachers and people who are actually smart in education can help produce better students and better people in society?
That's a loaded question. Okay. So it's a function of the society again. And I agree with what you have said. So in secondary school, when you make straight A's from junior Y, they put you in science class. I had straight A's, 10 A's, so I was put in science class. When you have maybe 4 to 5 A's, they put you in commercial class. And then when you have no A, all C's and all F's, they put you in arts class. Unfortunately, those in arts class will end up going to the colleges of education and end up becoming teachers. So at the end of the day, the cycle goes on. So again, what are they teaching us? That the bright people become doctors and lawyers and engineers and pharmacists, but the not so bright ones become teachers. So if this person is not so bright, how are they going to now teach other people? So I think it's a function of our government, our society, and that needs to change. And that is changing right now, because in the educational space, there are a lot of teachers. I mean, when I was training in for my PGD, I had lecturers that were dentists. I had 2 dentists that taught, one taught punishment versus discipline or something like that. I can't remember her name, Dr. Fakoya or something. She was a medical doctor. She was a dentist. I had another person that was a lawyer that had transitioned. So, you know, it's now about calling. People are saying that, see, education is not about the chalk and the pencil. It's about developing the minds of children. So if you have what to give, then we need you in education, because we want to shape the minds of the next generation. I'll give another instance. I have my chief bridesmaid, her younger sister finished from Unilag, had a first class mechanical engineering. She went abroad on scholarship for her master's, for PhD on scholarship. But guess what? She teaches maths in a UK secondary school.
Oh, so it's different abroad.
So that is it. They understand it. You put your best foot forward.
Because if you even say after having a PhD and all that,
after having a first class,
exactly,
and then going on
scholarship, then having a PhD, now say you want to teach. If I first write your name and take it to the mountain to pray for you.
But all that is changing, because it's about passion. To teach is about passion. And it's about wanting to give back. You may not get it immediately financially, but it's rewarding, especially if you're in it for the right reasons.
So, riding on that then, what are some opportunities that are open to teachers now that could encourage other people to join the profession?
Opportunities?
Apart from fulfillment.
No. So again, it is financially rewarding if you know what to do, especially if you can teach online.
Okay.
If you can teach online, people make way much more from whatever they make from their monthly salaries online. You know, there are a lot of students that want to teach, and if you have those skills, the sky beyond the sky is your limit. And apart from that, you know, there's psychology, the what do you call it, educational psychology. That's another place that is opening up, because we're beginning to see a lot of children with special needs, and we need facilitators for those kind of children. We need them. And there's something called inclusion that is also happening now. Children with special needs, they want them to be in the normal school setting because children learn by imitation, so at least they will pick certain skills. I see someone go to use the restroom, I will be able to do that by myself. I may not be able to solve maths the way that child is going to do it, but at least I can pick certain things, basic things. I can take care of myself when I eat. So they learn certain sensory and motor skills from. So we need a lot more people, that space is opening up for people to try out a career from. So that's one opportunity I can speak of.
Okay, and I've also noticed that there are more fellowships for teachers as well that are opening up, which are, some good opportunities that they can take advantage of.
Yes.
That's good. They want to be a teacher, maybe, but not secondary
If you have the calling.
I don't think I have the calling.
So everybody.
And patience as well. You need patience.
Yes, you need a lot of patience. But you will learn it on the job.
Man, because children will test your results.
But then again, they are very sweet. Because they would come around, especially the ones in primary school. They will tell you everything that is going on in their house. You will be the one to stop them. They are just very sweet souls. When they see you outside, hello, Mrs. Whoever, they would greet you. It's just it's very rewarding. And I think back and I remember my teachers. In fact, one of my teachers, my father maths teacher, passed a few weeks ago. And the alumni was saying, we need to go visit, and I was just looking at it that in another 40-50 years time
I'll be in that situation.
I'll be in that situation, but you remember those people with so much fondness and you're grateful to them, so it's just interesting.
They say teachers' reward is in heaven.
No, but some of us are getting our rewards here.
I like that. Because anything somebody passes on for again, like, Lord, can I get both, please?
No, the reward is people are beginning to appreciate teachers. And again, you have to appreciate yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
You need to appreciate yourself, and you need to position yourself properly. Whatever skills and whatever opportunities you can get, you need to leverage on it.
So for parents, how can parents, or do you think parents, they really appreciate the work that teachers do? Because I saw a video one day, and the father and the mother, it wasn't just one parent. It was actually, you would think, okay, maybe the mother slaps, and then the father is like, no, just don't do that. It was the both of them hitting the teacher, and I felt very sad for that teacher because it was almost like he couldn't do anything. And I want to believe that in that setting there were other, school administrators, or at least people of the school in that setting, and nobody defended the teacher.
That was a very sorry case.
Yeah.
But what I would just say is, as teachers, let us not put ourselves in that position too. So I don't know what school that was, but in most schools, there's a no hitting rule. You don't hit children, not for any reason. You don't hit children. You don't verbally abuse children. So once you're able to help yourself, you will be frustrated, you will be infuriated, but you are the adults there. It takes a lot of help. It takes a lot of self-control. Sometimes you may even miss it. I remember one day a child asked me a question, and I said, what kind of foolish question is it? Immediately I said, it's not a foolish question. Not because I was afraid of being reprimanded, but I just realized it's not a foolish question. And let me just digress again a bit. It's not a foolish question, because every time I teach simple interest to children, I start with maybe, what do you understand by interest? And they would always say, because simple interest is a year 4 topic, year 4, year 5 topic, they would always say something you like to do. They don't understand it as interest as in gain. They don't, because they don't leave their monies in the bank. They don't go to the bank for anything for themselves. So you can imagine, from the child's mind, that's what he understands interest as. Now, if a child is asking a question, it is not a foolish question.
No matter what.
Because that's how the child is processing. We are adults. We know better. So you would say, oh, you wouldn't ask that kind of, but the child is genuinely asking that question. So back to the question. It's a function of both the parents, the school, and the teacher. So if the school says there's no hitting rule, then you comply. But I would have expected that the school shouldn't even let the teacher and the parents have that interface to protect the teacher. So we can reprimand ourselves later. Yeah. But, there's a way to douse the tension, we understand what has happened, ma'am. Please, we are on it.
I want to know the teacher. Bring the teacher out.
So there's a way, and then we would have calmed the parents before even bringing the teacher. And we may not even bring out the teacher.
So it's not necessary. It's not the right of the parents.
A parent is infuriated, especially those who feel, oh, I'm paying so much money, I should get better services, And I mean, some people may not have that kind of self-control, and they feel they are justified. You hit my child, I'm going to hit you too, and all that. And it doesn't always have to get to that point. So it's a three-pronged fork. How do we need to look at the teacher, the parents, and then the school. All of us are working for a common good. So nobody should be victimized, for carrying out. Like I always say, when I was working in the hospital, I don't think someone will come. It's always the same thing. A patient dies, you jack up the doctor. I don't know. We just need to do better. We need to do, because at that point in time, it's just emotions. Yeah. But we need to be able to manage it better. Because at the end of the day, that student will never respect that teacher. Yeah. Especially saying and when you now ask children, do you want to be a teacher? Nobody wants to be a teacher. So who is going to teach your own children?
That's true. That's true.
So it's something we need to work on. We need to, as a society, we need to give respect to the people that provide services for us.
Yes, that's true. Basically. That's true. And sometimes it could be a reflection of, the child is a reflection of the parents. Sometimes. So if sometimes children, because for you to go and fight outside, man, maybe you'll be fighting at home. But then again, circumstances can bring out the best or the worst in us. Yeah. So about your book, right?
Drum roll.
How does it feel being called an author?
Honestly, I never imagined I was going to write a book. I've never been, I've always been a maths person. I've never been in fact, I remember, this morning I just remembered. So when I was in secondary school, when you're going home on holidays, they give you assignment pack. Okay. So if you had like 10 subjects, you had 10 different assignments. And this year, I was in SS2. I wouldn't forget. The topic for my English essay was write a letter to your friend, advising her not to get married immediately after your SSC exam. And I couldn't write it. So I asked a friend to write it for me. I had done my maths, my physics, my chemistry, but English was creative writing was just a problem. So I didn't do it, and I asked a friend to do that for me. And unfortunately for me, so we were living in Abuja then. Okay. I was schooling in Ibadan. I left the assignment at home and came to Lagos to travel to Ibadan.
Oh, okay. Your school was in Ibadan?
My school was in Ibadan, Air Force Comprehensive School. Okay.
Ibadan. Was it a boarding school?
Yes, it was a boarding school. So my mom, I had come back to Lagos. A family friend was going to take me to school. Okay. I left the letter, on my bed, and my mom saw it. And unfortunately for me, my friend had used my name, Dear Benedicta. After the pleasantries, she said, I don't think you should get married to that Alaji. My mom was gobsmacked.
She was supposed to write it to your supposed friend's name.
She called to say, there was a problem and that they should not take me to school. And then she came all the way to have a talk with me.
Who is that
Alaji? And I just laughed. Mom, is this why you came all the way? She said, is it not enough reason?
Is it serious matter?
I said, Mom, it's my assignment. And she came all the way.
From Abuja
to Lagos.
Okay, to Lagos.
He asked them not to take me to school, that we needed to talk. And I never imagined I was going to write. But never say never, they say.
What inspired I hope I'll get it right. Bible in the alphabet.
Bible in the Alphabet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the title. So again, I teach in church.
Okay.
I teach teenagers in church. And I was bringing my knowledge of what I had learned in school. So the starter, I was bringing it to church.
Okay.
Would normally start with a starter.
Okay.
So we'll have a game, just something to lighten the mood. And that Saturday afternoon, I was thinking of, oh, what would be my starter for tomorrow's teaching? And the idea just popped. It came as M-A-N. Okay. Why not write 10 questions from the Bible that the answers will start with the letter M?
Oh.
Melchizedek, Mary,
Moses.
Manger, Moses, and that was it. I just started forming the questions and I got the questions for the day. And by the time I was done with Sunday school that day, when I came home, I realized, oh, I could do it for all the letters of the alphabet. And that's
A to Z.
A to Z.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I did that. But when we now wanted to publish, my publisher, my editor, now advised that, it will be too bulky. Let's take volume 1 and volume 2. So volume 1 is A to M. Volume 2 is now N to Z.
Oh, so which one are you releasing first?
Volume 1.
Yay, congratulations to you. When is the book launching and how can people get access to the book?
Okay, so the book launch is on the 27th of March.
Okay.
At Oriental Hotels. And it's going to be an exclusive gathering for the book launch. We want something very small, but I'm reaching out to bookstores and it's going to be available online on Amazon, on Seller and all that for people to be able to purchase their own copies.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Are you excited about the launch?
I'm very excited. It just feels very surreal for now. Maybe till after the book launch, then it will dawn on me.
So are you launching both volumes?
No, not yet. I'm launching this one and then when the second one comes, for me, I just want to release it. I don't know if there's going to be, because launching a book is a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
The writing is the easy part.
That's the easiest part for me. Yes, for me, because having to reach out to this person for small. Let me just write.
So, Bible in the alphabet, right? Who would you say you wrote this book for?
I wrote it for everyone that wants to learn more about God. Okay. So I can't say it's just for children, even though it's animated, but looking like for young people. But a lot of adults don't know some of the answers there too, So I wrote it for everyone who is hungry to know more about God, and it's written in a puzzle form. So you have a question and then you answer it. And then the way the answers are, I didn't just put the answers there. I put the answers in form of Bible reference. So if the answer to number 1A is John 15:3, I put it there, John. So you have to go back to search John 15:3. So at least as you open the Bible, you won't just read John 15:3. You read John 15:2. You say, okay, let me read verse 1. Oh, let me read the whole chapter. And it will encourage you to study your Bible. That's
so
the whole
how
idea.
long did it take you to write the book?
It didn't take up to a month.
Oh, wow.
It didn't even take up to a week.
Are you serious?
I don't think it took up to a week.
That means more books are coming from where
yes,
that
I have
came
volume
from.
1, volume 2, volume 3 now. So, and they're different things, So it didn't, but it took a while to edit because I had the initial draft and I had to start making corrections. There were so many things. I even goofed, At a point I felt, I think I put a dove as the first animal that was released from the ark or something. I realized that whether it was a raven or, so
what's the difference? They're both flying.
No, but because D and R are two different things.
That's true.
So I had to.
So it's it needed a lot of attention to detail.
So I had to keep going back to the Bible and using different translations so that, and then there are some times I would have to check this from KJV alone. But the translation I used was NKJV. Okay. But sometimes I would have to, because the way it will come out in NKJV is different from the way it comes out in Amplified. And you're looking for a particular word. So you need to be sure that this is the version you need to use.
Oh, that's interesting.
It took that one took almost 1 year.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So the entire book then took a long time.
Okay, so it took a long time because I needed to keep editing, keep changing, keep,
And to ensure accuracy.
To ensure accuracy, at least 90%. If not 95%.
The remaining 1% doesn't matter. So what do you want people to gain from the book, apart from forcing them to really study their Bibles? What else?
For me, that's the major thing.
Yeah.
Major thing, that you can read your Bible in a fun way. And like I tell the children in church, King James Version is not the only version. And it's not the original version.
That was the only version my mom allowed.
No, the doest and the knowest, no.
She loved it.
We don't know. Because at the end of the day, we don't understand it. And when you don't understand it, it's boring. Yeah. What you don't understand is boring. And that's why church sometimes for some children is boring. So I encourage ERV. English read version, easy read version. Use the easy read version. Even with, it's just that some of these versions, the renditions are a bit longer, but when I get a smaller one that has shorter verses that we can learn from, like today we were learning study to show yourself approved, a workman that needs not be. That's the one I know. But someone had a version that says, do your best to please God.
Very
so that's
simple.
Very simple. Do your best to please God. I can't remember, but we learned it in 3 lines. It said, don't be ashamed of the gospel or something like that. And that's how we learned it. Just 3 lines and we were fine. So it's to encourage people to, whichever way, take in the word of God.
Which is quite important. Do you know, even at home, we had started to read chapters of the Bible, right? Not to use devotionals. And what I realized is the Bible, as in there's so many moving parts that if you listen to a sermon, you would miss a lot. Unlike when you read chapter by chapter, you understand human behavior better, why this happened. In fact, for the first time, when I read the book of, I think it was Genesis, right? Why Rebecca betrayed her son Esau. It didn't make sense whenever they talked about it. But towards in fact, the last line of the previous chapter, before the story of the betrayal, I read that Esau had married, I think, 1 or 2 wives, and they were a thorn in the flesh, of she and Isaac.
Wow, I've not
so that gave
that
an explanation that if this guy becomes powerful and all the blessings are his, the shege will be more.
Those Bible people, they had their own issues too,
Yeah.
But we're learning from them that the ones they did wrong. Not to do them. Yeah. It's just an interesting journey, really.
So, before you got into education, what were you doing before now?
Okay, I was working in the laboratory.
Okay, were you a science laboratory technician?
Yes, that was what I was doing, and I did that for 8 years.
Okay.
I did that for 8 years.
8 years?
8 years.
Oh, wow. So what made you, did you get tired or you wanted something new?
Obviously, I wanted something more exciting because when you work in the lab, it's routine. We call it a routine lab, except you're working in a research lab. Okay. I was working in a routine lab. It's the same things every day.
Draw blood.
Bring blood, bring stool, bring urine, bring
sputum.
And then you find out that one person's disadvantage is what is exciting you. You're looking. Then my chief would ask you, "Did you see an elephant?" You're trying to view something under the microscope. You say, "Did you see an elephant there?" An elephant is somebody's problem because if I see an elephant, it means the person is sick. I mean, if I see any microorganism that I can identify, it means that person is seriously sick. And it got to a point when I go out, I'm looking at people's hands. I'm looking at their veins. Like, it would be sweet to draw blood there. Sometimes you have to cut because when some people come to the hospital, their veins are very difficult. So when you go out, like I can see yours now, and I'm like, this will be good. It will be a good vein. And if you're not careful and you say that out, the person will look at you and say, "Are you a vampire?" So it was interesting while it lasted. I miss it once in a while, especially when I have to give some lectures, health-related lectures. I miss it. But somehow it's helping me now. It helps me because sometimes I get to talk to the students about certain things, and that knowledge comes and. I mean, no knowledge is wasted.
Yeah, that's right. Now that you even teach, is it not possible for you to marry both together? Are you thinking about that?
I'm thinking of, except I'm going to have to lecture in a university or I've been thinking of that, but I would need I have a master's.
A
But
PhD.
I would need a PhD for
Are
that.
you thinking about going
Yes,
to
I am. I'm thinking, but I'm just wondering what I want to do for a PhD. Because if I'm going to do a PhD, I'm going to my first degree is in medical science. My second degree is in even though I did public health for my for masters. So if I want to lecture, I'll have to do some maybe medical microbiology or immunology, and those are the things that have just been ringing in my mind for now.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
You can transition here, then back, then you're back in the middle again.
Sometimes they would ask you if you don't know what you want. Why are you moving all over the place?
Well, that's the beauty of life anyways. You should be able to try as many things as you want to.
Yes, I agree, because sometimes I just wonder, why should I choose a career and stay in it for 40 years?
Exactly. Like, so I asked my parents, like, how did you work 35 years? Like, my God, that's
boring. I should be able to want to study law tomorrow, for instance,
and change your mind and go
and change my mind and then go to do engineering and then change my mind and do something else. It's just that people will think you're confused.
Yeah, but I think now people have more options than our parents did.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Younger people.
The whole world is becoming a global. It has always been the global village.
Yeah.
So opportunities are opening up for people.
So I want to ask, young people that you meet, right? You interact with young people. What would you say is very distinct between people who are, should I say Gen Z? I don't know if those children are Gen Z. The bracket.
Gen
is
Z,
it 7 to 11?
No, I think Gen Alpha started from 2013 or 2014.
Okay. So that's like 13. Yeah, no.
So anybody that is
that's like
15, yes, 13 thereabouts. 13 and below is Gen Alpha. Then I don't know their categorization.
Well, what would you say is significantly different from millennials?
There's a lot of differences, though.
Apart from them being stubborn and...
so they were born into...
Or maybe we think they're stubborn and probably they're not.
They were born into screens.
Yeah.
I was born at a time when TV came up at 4 p.m. And by 10 p.m. it was all over. So you had a 6-hour window.
Yeah.
To watch. And even that 6-hour window, you go for lessons, you do your assignments. Yeah. Most of us were in boarding house.
Okay.
So really didn't have that time for TV. But right now, every child has a screen.
Yeah.
Even the babies. Because some parents just give them, take, so that you can allow me. But, it's overstimulates. And one thing I realized, it's also affecting the eyes. The screens are affecting the eyes, and then it's affecting attention span.
Yeah.
Once it's not colorful, once it's not jumping, people they're not ready to listen. Yes. And you say, even for us as adults now, when you go to church, right? There are screens all over. They've made life easy. You don't even have to go with a physical Bible.
Yeah, with a Bible.
So when they call Nahum, you don't even know where Nahum is. You'll be wondering, did they just add it to the Bible? Because they've made it, in the bid to make things easy. Sometimes this physical struggle helps, but we just want to make everything easy, So they see now that there's no reason for any struggle sometimes. Academics because again, our children don't get to repeat anymore.
Oh, they don't repeat?
No, you don't repeat. You can't pay 2.5 million and then you repeat.
But what if the child is not?
So you keep on pushing them. You keep on pushing them.
That's not real life, right? Because
it's not. But again,
how do they learn resilience to deal with shit, to deal with disappointment,
mental health?
Yeah, well, life itself will affect your mental health so badly.
So we shield them now from a lot of things. And I don't know, this generation maybe is the experiment. Let's see how it will turn out.
Unfortunately, too many children who would maybe end up being adults anyways, would have been affected, because now the rate of suicide is higher. Meanwhile, I feel like life is even easier. My feelings, everybody's so feeling based. And I remember then when I was growing up, I had someone else say, I want to kill myself. I'm like, my parents are like, hey, go and kill yourself. Like,
now if you try it, they'll go ahead.
Like, they don't have as much mental resilience.
No, they don't. And you know, it reminds me of the story
What can
of
parents
the.
do? Yeah, please go ahead.
It reminds me of the story of the caterpillar and the butterfly. That a man saw a caterpillar that was trying to transition to a butterfly, and the thing was struggling. And the guy thought he wanted to help. It's a story on the internet. He thought he was going to help the caterpillar, so he took a pair of scissors and snipped open just to allow the wings come out. And yes, the wings came out. But that butterfly never flew. Why? Because that struggle was supposed to push in blood into the wings and help it. And so it remained a butterfly that could not fly. And sometimes I see that there's just some struggles that are needed. Not all. There were some things that we went through as children, as teenagers, that were unnecessary. For instance, you tell a child to crawl. It's not. We will crawl.
Like
we will
ride bike.
You know, we'll do frog jump. You know, all that. You know, some of them were really not necessary. You know, but somehow there were some of them that, you know, pushed us, gave us the resilience that some people have now. You know, and that's what we're taking away from our children. I don't know. I don't have the answers.
What can parents do then?
It's going to be a balance. It's going to be a balance that we'll have to ask each other, people that have gone before us, you know, and just try not to just tilt to one end of the bargain, so just balance it. There's something called discipline, and discipline is important. Discipline is different from punishment.
What's the difference?
So punishment is, you just want to inflict pain on this person. The person may not learn at the end of the day. But you say with discipline, you are going through it. The child is also going through it.
What if I don't want to go through it?
You have to go through it. That's
but
it.
But I was not the one that committed an offense.
No, I'm talking about the parent. We will go through it together.
Okay.
We have to go. That's the part of the discipline. And the parents are also not. For instance, let me give an instance. A child maybe doesn't do the homework, and then you flog. That's the end. It comes to a point the child says, she'll flog me and that'll be it.
And I'll move on.
But you have not taught anything. The child has not learnt anything.
And the child has even grown resistance towards
to that. Now, the child, I know this child loves to go to parties. There's a birthday party coming. You didn't do your homework and you've not been doing your homework. No party for you. But I, as a parent, I want to go for the party. Where am I going to leave the child? So we forgive. I will shout. You will not go, but we will still go. Because you also don't want to be the odd one out. But we're not teaching anything at the end of the day. We're not teaching anything. But the flogging is not going to help anything. It's just going to inflict. And then how many people do even flog? And there's no point in it. There are other things that we need to do. We will not punish with food. No, we will not, because every child has a right to those things. But delayed gratification, take away certain privileges, you know, those are things that we need to do for discipline to thrive. You're not going to be, you don't have any business with your gadgets during school hours. I mean, I know of some families when DSTV was still very much involved. They don't pay for DSTV.
During the school term.
During school term. It means that even mommy and daddy don't have access to DSTV.
So you see, discipline
is from the parents too will go through it. I'm not going to have it. You too, you will not have it. Let's enjoy the peace.
Let's have conversation.
Yes. So that, because the truth is, honestly, sometimes if you check how many hours you've used on your phone, it's amazing.
It's when you track it, you realize, oh my goodness, 4 hours already.
4 hours.
And you'll be saying there's no time, but somehow you have 4 hours.
So you can imagine you that even thinks you're tracking, then children that don't have, there's no 10 hours. And they will be on that thing till 12 midnight. Some people come to school, they are tired because they didn't sleep on time. They didn't sleep. And so a child comes into school, is tired, has been on his or her phone, watching movies, watching whatever. How is that child going to learn? Because you can't cheat nature. They will doze off in class. They are tired. whatever you're saying is not interesting because they've had more interesting things. It's like taking a stimulant. They've been stimulated. Imagine you getting used to watching a movie and then someone now comes, you see biology is the education. It's boring.
Yeah,
it's boring.
True.
So
that's true.
we need to. The parents have their work cut out for them.
Yeah.
The school and then the child themselves.
Yeah.
They have their work cut out for them.
That's so true. That's so true. Even I, as an adult, I noticed that when I spend so much time on my screen, this is how I describe it to my husband and my sister, right? It's as if they put like a curtain around my brain.
Yes, it doesn't help
as
you.
in, I can't really focus. I can't really think clearly and all that.
Your brain is foggy after. Once you leave that screen after 3 hours, even to see is a problem.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the damage it does to young people.
And even you can actually have like phone sickness. That your actual body feels like you're going to fall sick
because
like
you've not been
or something.
Because you've not been on phone for a very long time.
Yeah.
It happens. That is to show that you are now getting addicted. So it's not only substance abuse. The phone too. We need to fast off the phone and it's a problem. But
because even older people these days, right? Like Facebook, for example, is so interesting to older people, people maybe 60s, 70s, and they spend so much time on their screen.
Because it's amazing for them. I mean, it's something they didn't have at that time. So they're like, and then they're catching up. Oh, we went to secondary school 60 years ago, they are really thrilled. Yeah, and then the fact that they get to use technology.
Yeah.
So it's fun for them. For them, it's very exciting. But for children, there has to be that boundaries. There has to be that discipline to say, I'm going to put down my phone. I need to do this. I'm not going to have access to phone. In fact, for our own kids, we had to get a landline. So they don't have their mobile phones.
But they can still reach you.
They can. So, I mean, the landline is there. But after a while, the pressure became much. They were the only ones that didn't have phones.
It became worse and worse.
They were the only ones that didn't have phones. And I'm just wondering, how do we do this? I met a lady recently who said, our children don't get phones till they're 18. Okay, I said, let me follow you. Please be encouraging me. Let's be doing it together. Because honestly, it's because sometimes they come to talk to you. Oh, they are friends, don't invite them for parties. They don't, and you talk.
Because they're not in WhatsApp.
They're not in that. They're not there. They're not happening.
Yeah.
And I feel for them because I mean, if I am my kids, I would feel bad.
Yeah. So how do you help them realize that?
So sometimes I just tell them that that is for them. But sometimes you just oblige them, especially during holidays. Just oblige them. And then sometimes I just tell them, okay, this weekend, invite 3 of your friends. Let's have 3 friends each. Let's have something over at the house. Let's play badminton. Let's play on the PS5. Let's do something, just to encourage. Let's bring them over. You guys will cook. And then you just have...
Oh, sounds like fun. But how can parents really get to know their children? Because sometimes children can be so secretive. And you see a child and you're wondering, I never knew this child. Like children who maybe end up, say, taking a gun and killing, their fellow students. You're wondering, where did that come from? They can't bring themselves to imagine their children doing that.
Thankfully, we don't have such cases yet in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for parents. You just have to be intentional.
You think children should have privacy?
Guarded privacy.
Like, oh no, this is my private space, Mommy, you can't come into my room.
No, I will come into your room when you're not there because I need to find out. Because when you go into their bags, you would see certain things. So yes, when you are not there, I may not come. But sometimes I may just put my foot down to say, you don't pay rent here.
Yeah.
When you start paying rent, you can do that.
You have your privacy,
now, I need to check them. But even at that, it's not just about checking things. It's sometimes a child that is even leading prayers at home, but it's just God at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we must be intentional to say, I want to know what is going on. And then to learn that when they tell you certain things, you don't blow it out. You don't use it to insult them.
But that's our own parent style.
So you can't do that. If not, nobody's going to tell you anything.
Trust you.
So even when you are shocked at certain things that they are saying, you don't act shocked. Really? That person like that is smoking. Now, wow. But you know that you should not smoke.
But how do you balance it? Hearing something very shocking. Hey, and maybe your child is saying he or she is the one participating in that. And maybe how do you balance not punishing that child for telling you the truth, but also really punishing for doing something wrong?
Okay, so there are consequences, and we had this discussion yesterday. Or was it this morning? There are consequences for every action. When you misbehave, there's going to be consequences.
Even if you're the one that told me.
Yes.
With your mouth.
There are some we have to do something about it. We have to deal with it. We can't just sweep it under the carpet. But I'm not going to vilify you for telling me. But we would have that discussion. So let's choose it. What are we going? Because we need to deal with this matter.
Yeah.
So how do you think we're going to? So we will reach a compromise. And sometimes everything is not casting, depending on what happens. You know, because you also sometimes they don't tell you 50% of what is happening. They will tell other people. And I've come to be at peace with it, that there's someone in church, there's a family friend who is maybe in his 20s, early 20s, late 20s, that they can relate to and speak with, no problem. Because I also did that. You know, there was a time I wasn't speaking with my mom. I was speaking to someone that was closer to my age.
Was the person telling your mom?
She wasn't, but she was talking to me that no, you can't do this, you can't, you know, because sometimes they feel as though, oh, you're too far apart, you know. So we must come to that place to say they may not tell me everything,
and to be okay with it.
To be okay with it, and to pray. You can't take that away.
Yeah.
To pray that God helps you, God opens your eyes to see certain things that may be hidden, that need to be dealt with. You know. And you know, it's a journey, it's a learning journey. Nobody has been a parent before. We are all learning. So you learn from the people that have gone before you. Where they failed, you try not to fail there, and where they succeeded, you know, you learn. So everything it's just progress. Nobody has it all. You know, it's a continuous process. So we just keep learning and hoping for the best. Keep learning and hoping.
Thank you so much. It's been such an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Please tell them to subscribe and like and
please
share
subscribe
the video.
and like and share the video.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so my last question, right, is who would you like me to interview next? Okay, maybe not next, but who would you like me to interview?
DDK.
Oh, I love her too.
Please interview her for us.
I hope I have the opportunity to. I hope I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.